the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Oh, yes, my Straight Talk family. You are wondering and pondering what's going on with Straight Talk. We've been trying to tangle out some issues here on Straight Talk, and we just did, my family. And yes, we must apologize for our tardy start tonight, and I am awfully sorry, but I had to come before you tonight and ensure that we were in fact in a position to do justice with our program tonight, because we were really experiencing some difficulties here, and I'll tell you all about it. But a very pleasant night, and welcome to another edition of Straight Talk, my family. And for those of you all across the globe, I say greetings, because we are reaching and communicating with you right across the Kittian, Nevision, Caribbean diaspora. And we reach you in Asia, we reach you in Europe, we do reach you in Africa, and we do reach and communicate with you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And we say a very pleasant night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and to the entire Caribbean as well. And we welcome, most of all, our first-timers. And just for the first-timers, Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest. And my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk is a public service program for the first timers. We thank those who share the link. And just to let you know that Straight Talk is a public service program, and we reach and communicate with you every Monday and Thursday night from 8 to 10 in the PM. And my Straight Talk family, for the first timers as well, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expressions on all issues of national, regional, and international interest. And my Straight Talk family, I'm a bit tired tonight, so I won't tarry too long. But I must underline, it is an imperative for me to reach and say hello to my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. I must do that. And say hail up to young Dwayne, to Tristan, to Jasmine, to Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, my grandson Neymar, and of course his good friend Saraya and Elizabeth. I was a special lady as well in St. Louis. And to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program, like I said, but we also include your calls, we also include your emails, and if you also mind calling, the numbers are on your screens. And we, at some point in time, we do entertain your calls. And for those who have the Alexa as well, we are accessible via Alexa. And just say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. Massive. He keeps us going on his forum, My Straight Talk family, and we are grateful for that. We do have a few observations in review, after which we will do our thesis. We move to our thesis, which I've titled Poor Fiscal Performance Causes Mad Rush into SEZs. My first observation, I wanted to address I promised I would address the desalination. I'll perhaps have to forego that. So I've heard the so-called engineer saying all sorts of things today, about water and what he has done for water. But people still have to run home at nights and still don't get water for days. And the so-called engineer must know that under our watch, under my watch, for example, the most I want to tell him that we never had need for trucks. We never had need to ration water the way they do. And they don't even grant the courtesy anymore to say or tell the customer base where it's being rationed all around the entire country, but the times, and that's sad. And this is what we've come to under this Terence Michael Joe Labour administration, have to be receiving water via trucks. But we will come to that in a fulsome way on some other program. But quickly, my Straight Talk family, as we move on, we've heard the sad news about visa restrictions for Dominicans and Antiguans and Barbudans. And I recall that some time ago when it was talked about, Gaston Brown had this to say about the visas.
The most recent situation here in which the Washington Post said that the United States may take a policy decision to block Antiguans and Barbudans from going to the United States. I can reassure the people of Antigua and Barbuda that will never happen. So those of you who may begin to feel shaky and getting a little weak-kneed, trust me, we are too competent, too skillful. And we have the diplomatic skills to make sure that the relationship does not deteriorate to the extent that the United States has to take any such hostile position against our people. So despite the naysayers, when they come with their hopelessness and all their propaganda and they want to make you feel fearful, you need not worry because you're in safe hands.
Well, that perhaps was then. But just over a day ago, I think it was, the U.S. issued a proclamation which referred or included, amongst other countries, Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda from the OECS region.
Now, I find that reasoning very curious because over the last few weeks, in fact, last couple of months, Antigua and Barbuda and all of the countries of the Eastern Caribbean that operate citizenship by investment programs have been in deep consultation with the United States at several levels of the U.S. government, including the State Department, the Treasury Department, the Department of Homeland Security, our Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and bilateral discussions with government officials, including heads of government. So the other curious thing about this, apart from the fact that this engagement has been going on, so this has happened without even any notice, is that only two countries have been selected from the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica. There are three other countries that operate a CBI program without residency, and they are not mentioned. So it seems to me that there is more to this than just the reasoning that has been given in this proclamation.
And what happened? What happened, as I said, the U.S. issued this proclamation.
This information only came to the government of Antigua's attention and to the embassy in Antigua late this evening. In fact, well after 5 o'clock is when this proclamation issued by President Trump was made available. I immediately contacted the State Department and the officers there with whom one would normally communicate over matters, bilateral matters, between the government of Antigua and Barbuda and the United States of America. They had no idea that this proclamation was going to be issued, nor did they know what it contained. They learned about it at the same time that I did. Now, what the proclamation says, and I think you've communicated this in part to your audience, is that Antigua and Barbuda has been, visas have been suspended for entry into the United States, and they are B1, B2, F visas, M visas, and J visas. And the reason that is given is that Antigua and Barbuda has historically had citizenship by investment programs without residency.
So, my Straight Dog family, the issue surrounds, as Ambassador Ron Sanders said, those countries that have citizenship programs and residency is not mandatory. But we'll follow that story, my Straight Dog family. And again, Antigua and Barbuda, the U.S. has issued, just for clarity, this proclamation.
This information only came to the government of Antigua's attention and to the embassy in Antigua late this evening. In fact, well after 5 o'clock is when this proclamation issued by President Trump was made available. I immediately contacted the State Department and the officers there with whom one would normally communicate over matters, bilateral matters, between the government of Antigua and Barbuda and the United States of America. They had no idea that this proclamation was going to be issued, nor did they know what it contained. They learned about it at the same time that I did. Now, what the proclamation says, and I think you've communicated this in part to your audience, is that Antigua and Barbuda has been, visas have been suspended for entry into the United States, and they are B1, B2, F visas, M visas, and J visas. And the reason that is given is that Antigua and Barbuda has historically had citizenship by investment programs without residency.
And that's the reasons, as it again relates to our citizenship program. And we trust that Terrence Michael Drew is ensuring that our house is in order. And those are my observations and review for tonight. Just for information, how many of us listened to that semi-finals last night? Very high standard it was. And going through from the semi-finals, 7 Calypsonians who will come up against King Juicy. And King Juicy is sounding a little bit unbeatable. But the competition is on a particular night, and I think that night is the 30th of December. And these 7 finalists
for Kaiser Final 2025-2026 goes like this. Queen Independent, King Sakwati, King Astro, Decider, Mighty Godfrey, Big Lice, Dwighty, and the alternate is I so so. The 7 finalists for Kaiser Final 2025-2026 goes like this. Queen Independent, King Sakwati, King Astro, Decider, Mighty Godfrey, Big Lice, Dwighty, and the alternate is I so so.
My good friend I so so is the alternate. Never short of lyrics. My good friend I so so. Sometimes I wish I can lend you my voice on that night when you're competing, but that is not how it works. Those are my observations for tonight, and I move to my thesis, which I've said I've titled Poor Fiscal Performance Causes Mad Rush into SEZs, Special Economic Zones. And my fellow citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, tonight I bring to your attention, having listened to the budget presentation as the last presenter, Sean Richards, former Deputy Prime Minister, made the point that labor is the problem. And also spoke to the deficit. The 3 years of deficit accumulated equals to over $700 million. Yes, $700 million. This Labour administration under Terence Michael Drew has accumulated over 3 years and counting in office. So my Straight Talk family, this weak fiscal performance has increasingly pushed governments, not just this government, weak fiscal performance increasingly pushed governments toward short-term, high-visibility policy tools, triggering a growing rush into special economic zones, SEZs. And faced with widening deficits, sluggish revenue growth, and mounting political pressure to stimulate investment and employment, because nothing go on in St. Kitts. No jobs, no projects. So Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet of experts have now considered SEZs as quick solutions to the deep-seated structural problems. And they're promising tax incentives, relaxed regulations, and rapid industrialization, as SEZs are marketed as engines of growth, capable of compensating for fiscal weakness. And this government of Terence Michael Drew, this administration, and the Nevis Island administration likewise, they are fiscally weak. So they have hurried to embrace here in St. Kitts and Nevis the hurried embrace, I should say, here in St. Kitts and Nevis has reflected or reflects fiscal distress rather than economic planning. The possible proliferation of SEZs raises critical questions about their effectiveness, their sustainability, and long-term impact on our public finances and balanced development. Question that this thesis tonight will seek to examine. And when one carefully analyzes the current fiscal performance of the Terence Michael Drew Labour administration, it becomes painfully clear why there is such reckless haste, such dangerous desperation to approve the Destiny project on Nevis. And this rush has nothing to do with sustainable development and everything to do with empty treasuries. An empty treasury in St. Kitts, and across the Narrows, an empty treasury in Nevis. It has to do with failed fiscal management and the two administrations, the federal government led by Terence Michael Drew and the Nevis Island administration led by Mark Anthony Graham Brantley. Both administrations are scrambling for cash. The reality is stark, my Straight Talk family. The government coffers are depleted, empty. The Sustainable Island State Agenda, SEZs, has just become a hollow slogan masking an economy being driven headlong toward the International Monetary Fund. They are going to the IMF. They're on the way to the IMF. In 2024 alone, this administration recorded an account deficit of $152.5 million, my Straight Talk family. Hear that? $152.5 million, I repeat. And you can glean from your monitors, my Straight Talk family. I hope that they are clear enough, my Straight Talk family. But if you look at your monitors, you will glean from your monitors that there's an overall fiscal deficit of $295 million. $295.4 million to be exact. And those were the exact figures for 2024. This is what this reckless government, this reckless administration under Terence Michael Drew, this is the debt they have accumulated. Right now, the Terence Michael July administration has racked up public debt nearing to $2 billion. Over in Nevis, that can't spend money premier as well, has racked up the debt to over $500 million. So combine St. Kitts and Nevis, my Straight Talk family, there we have nigh $3 billion in public debt. So, get to read it, my Straight Talk family. The Prime Minister now projects even worse, a worse situation. A current account deficit of $175.7 million. That's at the top of your screen. Read the figures for yourself, my Straight Talk family. And an overall deficit of $303.9 million. That's how bad things are in St. Kitts and Nevis. But here is where my straight dog family, the insult to the intelligence of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis truly begins. After 3.25 years, going on to 4 years of economic mismanagement, mounting deficits, and worsening fiscal outcomes, in complete contradiction to the empirical data and the fiscal trend since his administration assumed office in August 2022. The same Prime Minister, Terence Michael Drew, now has the audacity, the boldness to predict a miraculous turnaround. That's what he called it, a miraculous turnaround. Imagine, it drastically reduced current account deficit of just $24.1 million, my straight dog family, and an overall deficit of $152 million. Let me put it back for you again. They provide information. And that's impossible. How can you turn around in just like that? Where you get the money from? Impossible. No credible explanation. No structural reform. Just numbers on paper. And my straight dog family, I listened to Sean Richards, and I must give him credit. He was calm, he was cool, and he was clear and concise. And he broke it down for the average man. Timothy Harris as well spoke to these figures. But what is happening in St. Kitts? As I said, no structural reform, just numbers on paper. And that is not sound economics. That is fantasy budgeting, my straight dog family. Such projections strain credibility and raise serious questions about fiscal transparency and competence. Underline competence. The competence of Terence Michael Drew and Mark Anthony Graham Brantley must come into question. Because when we examine, for example, when we examine the proposed revenue projections for 2025, examine them, my straight dog family. They too are on your monitors. I trust they are clear enough for you. Recurrent revenue. When we examine the proposed revenue projections that are on your monitors for 2025 and the approved estimates for 2026, my straight dog family, tax revenue and non-tax revenue are wholly inadequate to meet the government expenditure. Look at it. Look at the non-tax revenue on the citizenship by investment, for example. The actuals in 2024, $244 million, climbing down from $640 million, believe it or not, in 2023. But my straight dog family, Terence Michael Drew avoided to read his own address on page, I think it's page 9 of the budget address. When they get it, read it. He avoided the top 3 lines. And I believe the former or the third Prime Minister made mention of it today, listing him in between what I was doing. And he speaks to the fiscal landscape. Let's just read that together, my straight dog family. Madam Speaker, I now move to give a synopsis of the government's fiscal performance for the year 2025. An analysis of the 2025 fiscal data revealed that deficits were recorded for the overall and primary accounts of 295.4 million and 279.3 million respectively. This is in the budget address which the Prime Minister skipped over. For some reason he skipped over, and we know the reason is obvious. He skipped over and he went to this, my Straight Dog family. He went to this.
Madam Speaker, total revenue and grants summed overall summed to 779.1 million, of which recurrent revenue was 756 million. The total grants was 23 million. Tax revenue was 444 million, was 5.8 million or 1.3% lower than the budget estimate, mainly because of the VAT holiday as well. Notably, taxes on income, taxes on property, and taxes on international trade and transaction fell short as well. However,
fell short. He skipped over his actual budget address, as I said, and jumped to total revenue. He jumped to the bottom of the page. Look at it, my Straight Dog family. He just jumped to the bottom of the page and avoided this. What he just read, my Straight Dog family, was at the bottom of the page, the very last sentence you can glean. He says the below target performance. That's what he just read from his address. But he forgot to read the top, the first three lines. He never forgot, rather. He was just going to face reality and tell the people what has happened. And what is happening, my Straight Dog family, as Jew should have read in relation to the fiscal landscape, and I'll read it for him. It's on page 9 on the budget. When you get your budget address, read it yourselves. Section 18. Madam Speaker, I now move to give a synopsis of the government's fiscal performance for the year 2025. An analysis of the 2025 fiscal data revealed that deficits were recorded for the overall and primary accounts of $295.4 million and $279.3 million respectively. Now he comes and he says he has a budget of over $1 billion. So you mean he spent $1 billion and almost $300 million extra. And what I find strange, I don't ever hear they coming back to Parliament with an appropriation warrant for the over expenditure. That's something I unless I missed it. My Straight Dog family, he reported for 2026 total revenue and grants are projected at $894.8 million, while the current expenditure alone stands at $879.8 million, with capital expenditure adding another $167.2 million. And if you ain't got no money to spend, how can you move into capital projects? And I heard the former deputy spoke about some millions as it relates to the Basti High School project. And what was strange is that the slow student sat there passive. He did not respond to the former Minister of Education as well. $1 million was paid to some pre-conco without or outside of the procurement contract or procurement administration and administration act. And my straight talk family, but what we are seeing is fiscal recklessness, plain and simple. It is an unsustainable fiscal imbalance by any objective measure. And yes, the government announced an extra month's pay for public servants, GAEs, pensioners, and step workers. And several persons have called me and said to me, Patches, while we are genuinely happy for those who are benefiting, those beneficiaries, the many workers like we outside the public sector, we are left with a bittersweet taste in our mouths. And someone called me and I asked him why. And that individual said to me, because those of us outside the government will not receive this patronage. Yet we will still be burdened with paying back this increase to the growing public debt. And that's a good point, because they have to borrow to pay that. A fair question, my straight talk family, also arises. Why couldn't every worker and pensioner in St. Kitts and Nevis benefit? Why? What happened to the dividend he promised annually? All of us are suffering, another person said to me, adding that this selective generosity is like forgiving or akin to forgiving the delinquent electricity consumers while ignoring or failing to reward those who faithfully pay their bills and keep the utility running or operational. That debate is, however, for another time. But getting back to the fiscal operations of the Terence Michael July administration and a closer look at its revenue projections further exposes the problem. The so-called golden goose or the citizenship by investment program has laid all its eggs. As I said to you before, in 2024, CBI revenues amounted to $240 million, my straight talk family. I post that one more time, $244 million. Yet, the approved estimate of $499 million for 2025 has already been slashed to $124.5 million. Mark Brantley across the waters already told us, no doubt saw this coming, and he reduced his budgetary support from $66 million. Budgetary support which has been getting for well over 5 years under the Team Unity administration. He got $5.5 million monthly or $66 million per annum per year. And that has been reduced to $35 million according to Mark Brantley himself. And yet, against all logic, the government now estimates $240 million in CBI fees for 2026. That is not optimism. That has to be voodoo economics. So my straight talk family, it is therefore easy to conclude that the haste and desperation to approve the development agreement submitted by the Nevis Island administration, or submitted to the Nevis Island administration by Olivier Johnson, represents a last-ditch attempt to squeeze revenue from a CBI program that has lost its competitiveness across the OECS and beyond. And all of this comes at a time when public debt, as I said, has ballooned to nearly $2 billion. Billion with a B. There was no money in the treasury in Bastille and no money in the treasury in Charleston. Both administrations are bad for business. So the question before the Federation tonight is simple. Where do we turn? Do we return to leadership that took us into the IMF? Or to leadership that fought to free us from the clutches of that Bretton Woods institution? Whatever the answer, the financial stability of St. Kitts and Nevis is now at stake. This is why both leaders cling to the belief that if the Destiny Project proceeds, at least $600 million can be injected into the economy. Wishful thinking. It is especially attractive to the NIA, which reportedly has approval from Terence Michael Drew to collect all CBI revenues from Nevis based on Project Destiny, then forward the funds to St. Kitts only after deducting 25% as Nevis's so-called fair share. Now the World Bank has issued this report. But why is it a secret? Not even the parliament or parliamentarians, elected representatives, have seen a copy of that report. Why is that report a secret between Mark Brantley and Terence Drew? Why? My Straight Dog family, the Destiny Project has attracted international scrutiny from international papers. The Destiny Project has attracted the attention of the Financial Times. Yes, my Straight Dog family. It has also attracted the attention of the Daily News, my Straight Dog family. It has also attracted the attention of the Brussels Times, I think it's called. I'll get that for you. The Brussels news outlet from Belgium, my Straight Dog family. It has also attracted this, yes, the Brussels Times as well on Destiny. Yes, it has, my Straight Dog family. I'll have that for you up in a moment. So it has attracted attention from all these international papers. And my Straight Dog family, in the article today in the Brussels Times, it highlights the ambitious and controversial plan of a libertarian, crypto-friendly enclave in Nevis, pitched as a Dubai in the Caribbean. But these three globally respected media institutions, while the investment could bring jobs and infrastructure to Nevis, they have also raised significant governance, legal, and local sovereignty questions. They have raised serious questions and concerns about this island within an island, my Straight Dog family. And they have also raised questions about conflict of interest or conflicts of interest. As you can see for yourselves and you can read for yourselves. And both the Financial Times and the Daily News, they have both raised questions of conflict of interest and about advice allegedly provided by experts engaged by the developer himself. Yet, my Straight Dog family, if you read on the last page there, the news outlet is saying they have been met with silence instead of transparency, as the developer and political leaders refuse to engage these media houses. And my Straight Talk family, that silence violates every principle of good governance, transparency, and accountability. And even more alarming, my Straight Talk family, is the betrayal of the just over 13,000 people on Nevis through proposals, my Straight Talk family, that could see nearly 40,000 foreign nationals descending upon Nevis. And I was taken aback when I learned from a well-known pastor from Nevis, the Reverend Bonnie Byron, who told a meeting this, my Straight Talk family.
The name is Bonnie Byron. Just two little simple things have upset me very badly. I have a friend who told me that he was approached in 2021 by Mrs. Brantley, who asked him to sell his land over in that area. I don't know what you call it. Right. And another friend of mine said that she was approached before COVID. COVID was when? Yeah. Another friend of mine told me she was approached before COVID. So that's 2019. My friend was approached in 2021, told Mrs. Brantley that he's not going to sell his land. And so she put some white person to call him. I don't know the white person name. Doesn't matter. So I am very upset. I'm very alarmed. I said to the Premier that this whole thing is very alarming to me. That this thing has been going on for what now? 5, 6, 7 years? And well, I for one, maybe the rest of you have been hearing about it. But this year is the first time I'm hearing about it. When 2 of my friends were approached, one before COVID and one after COVID.
2 of her friends, my Straight Talk family, approached by Sharon Mama Brantley years ago. But the pastor, Reverend Byron, mixed no matters. She did not mince words, as we say. She said she cannot trust the Brantleys.
I'm extremely upset about this. So my question, but who exactly is Mrs. Brantley working for? Sorry? Yeah. Who exactly is the Premier's wife working for? I understand at some meeting or the other, the Premier said, leave my wife's name out of this. So if Mrs. Brantley could approach a friend of mine to ask my friend to sell his land, and when he said no, he was still pursued. Who exactly is she working for? I am very, very disturbed that this thing has been in the works for some 5 to 6 years. I'm extremely disturbed about it. And how come I just hearing about it this year? You know? Premier Brantley asked me a question in a very public space at the rededication service of the Methodist Church. Reverend Byron, am I still your friend? And my answer in this public space is Jesus commands us to love everybody. So I love everybody. It doesn't mean I like everybody. When somebody's not upfront with me, it is very, very disturbing to me. And I cannot trust them.
Cannot trust Mark Brantley, says the pastor. My Straight Talk family, this is not development. It is demographic displacement. And the pastor said that in the language that the ordinary man understands. The pastor said that in ordinary language that every man understands.
You bring in 7,000 to 10,000 people in here. That is going to change the face of Nevis forever. Right? I live right here in Charlestown. Now, rich people could go in their mansions and shut themselves away from the thing. I live right here in Charlestown. When these foreigners come in here, they could come into my space, could call it my zone. I have no protection against them, but I can't go into their zone. They have all the protection against me. Poor little me who could do them nothing. They have all the protection against me, but I have no protection against them. The people who are making these decisions for me, they could go into their mansions, they have their security, whatever it is. Right? So when these foreigners come, I am out in the open. No protection at all. It is very, very disturbing to me that somebody has made these decisions for me and still expecting me to be their friend. It is very, very disturbing for me. What is my future? I'm sleeping in my bed at night. What drug lord, what this can come around, walk in my space, and I have no protection.
Very pertinent questions, my Straight Talk family. When the citizens ask Mark Brantley whether these agreements will be shared for the public scrutiny, he said that's unusual. It will be laid in Parliament. And my Straight Talk family, what arrogance, we ask. What arrogance? Going to Parliament is not going to the people. Because Parliament shields politicians. It does not empower citizens. Democracy demands disclosure, not secrecy. Real transparency happens when leaders engage directly with communities. Listen to grassroots movements, the unions, civil society. Go beyond institutions to public fora, on the streets, in the villages, and in the workplaces. When that is done, the people become active participants and not just voters. The people therefore continue to demand full disclosure of the Destiny and Aquarian Consult agreements. Yes, Aquarian Consult agreements. Don't lose sight of that, my Straight Talk family. Is to develop a port in St. Kitts, another economic zone, over 10 square kilometers. And Jew is silent on that. He's waiting for Brantley to make the first move. Full disclosure is what is required. Repeal of the Special Sustainability Zone Authorization Act and an immediate halt to the rushed approval of any project driven by fiscal desperation rather than national interest. Yes, they are desperate. They are broke. They have no money. No money in the Nevis treasury. No money in the St. Kitts treasury. The poor fiscal management of both governments does not justify haste. It does not justify secrecy. And it certainly does not justify mortgaging the future of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is our country. This is our patrimony, and the people must come first. In conclusion, my Straight Talk family, the resort to special economic zones, the first being the Destiny Project on Nevis, as a response to the poor fiscal performance of the Terence Michael July Labour Administration and the Mark Brantley NIA, reveals a broader failure of fiscal and economic governance. If Destiny succeeds in its present format, I submit it will lead to indiscriminate proliferation of SEZs, driven by the search for quick revenues, yes, quick money, and visible investment that will mask rather than resolve the underlying structural weakness in the public finances of St. Kitts and Nevis. Instead of strengthening domestic revenue mobilization, improving expenditure efficiency, and pursuing inclusive growth, these SEZs would create insulated pockets of privilege sustained by tax incentives and regulatory exemptions. With rigorous evaluation, policy coherence, and integration with the wider economy, the rush toward these SEZs risk aggravating fiscal imbalances and entrenching uneven development rather than delivering sustainable fiscal recovery. My people, it is clear from all the evidence that the CCM-led NIA administration cannot sustain basic functions without external support. They need loans, they need bailouts, they need grants from Terence Michael July. Brantley's decision-making process has become reactive instead of being strategic. There is little room for reform because the NIA lacks resources and/or credibility. In simple terms, the NIA is barely functioning, barely surviving from one crisis to another. One crisis to the next, my Straight Talk family. That's what's happening with the NIA. With no real reserves left, and Mark Brantley put it right. His government is running on fumes. He had the gall to say that, my Straight Talk family. He told us the truth.
People of Nevis up there living on fumes, borrowing money.
And that's how he's living, on fumes. But my Straight Talk family, here on St. Kitts, and now entering into its 4th year in office, the Jew Labour administration continues to govern on promises rather than performance. Terence Michael July became Prime Minister by default. He don't know where he came from, so he won't know where he's going. And much of its agenda remains permanently underway, with delivery repeatedly deferred to future timelines that never quite arrive. And I'm happy that the Times Caribbean exposed this, my Straight Talk family, because the 3rd Prime Minister did put it very well.
All time something you bring back again. Nothing new. Nothing has been accomplished. Fake promises, broken promises. He wants to bring to life again. And there is no evidence that he has been able to do anything. And I wonder if he's not ashamed of himself. I wonder how he can look back 4 years almost ago when he promised that in 2 weeks the MRI facility will be there. He's a medical doctor. He ought to understand that he can't just say MRI and MRI come. 2 weeks. And he ain't asked any question. Up to today, no MRI come. The MRI is as if he's running away from Jew. And the whole government is running like that. Say anything, attempt to fool people, hope they will not remember, and then you bring it back up again, it soon come. It has taken too long to come. It is a 5-year mandate that was given to them. They have wasted your time. They have wasted your vote. For the last 4 years, they have been looking after themselves very well.
And we thank the Times Caribbean Magistrate family for that exposure. But this culture of postponement has been compounded by weak spending, discipline, and weak spending discipline, I should say, and overall poor fiscal record, marked by limited value for money and an absence of clear fiscal prioritization. Rather than translating electoral mandates into tangible outcomes, the government appears trapped in a cycle of announcements, projects in progress, and no justifications for delays in implementation. As their time in office lengthens, people's patience shortens, and the administration's challenge is no longer about inherited constraints, but about accountability for results not achieved. Public debt combined, St. Kitts and Nevis, $2 billion. Over in Nevis, over $500 million. Where will Terence Michael July turn? Not to Mark Brantley. The millions Sharon Mama Brantley is expected to yield from the land deals made by Johnson's belong to Mark and Mama Brantley. Terence Michael Drew has one alternative route that leads him straight to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. That's what Labour does. They did it well. They increase our public debt, and that's what we know about Labour. And they'll go to the IMF because what we have is a government after almost 4 years in office with a poor fiscal performance that causes a mad rush into SEZs. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. When I do so, I anticipate that we will respect others. Of course, to achieve that, we must first respect ourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we do and say will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentle St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you for holding call. You're live. It's 9:28. We started a little late. We'll get back your time. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Hello, caller?
Thank you, Brother Patches.
Oh, you're there? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, we hear you loud and clear, sir. The whole world is listening to you, my lord. Yes, but turn off your equipment and listen to your telephone. Yes, we are hearing you. Turn off your equipment. Turn off your equipment. Turn off your equipment, my brother. Turn off your equipment. If I find it, my brother. Thank you very much. Okay, man. Okay, thank you for your intervention. Let's go back to the lines. What's going on here? Yes, caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Good evening, my dear. How art thou? Yes, you're live. You're live. Hello? Hello, caller, you're live. Okay, we lost that caller. Let's take this other caller. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Oh, my. Are you there, caller? Okay, I'm missing these callers. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller? Yes, you're live, caller. What's going on with our callers? Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Hello, caller, are you there? Hello, caller, you alive? Are you there, caller? What's going on? Okay, let me sort out these. Okay, caller, let me sort out this telephone. There seem to be some connectivity issues on the telephones. I'll get to that. Let me see what's going on here. We do apologize for that, my Straight Dog family. Let's see. Okay, let's see what's going on. It's now 27 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. We will are you there, caller? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I seem to have. Just hold 1 second for me. We seem to have. Just hold the line for me 1 second, there, caller. Seem to have a little connectivity problem here. Let me see if I can try to sort it out for you before we lose you again. Let me see. Wi-Fi, I'm connected. Okay. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Okay, just bear with me. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Caller? Yes, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me? Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you there, caller? Hello? Yes, we are hearing you. Can you hear me? Yes, go ahead. I'm hearing you. Oh my. Okay, let's see. We have some difficulties here with the telephone lines. I see. We see what the issues. See what the issues here. My straight up family. Okay. Forgive me for that, my straight dog family. See if I get this back up and running again. Are you there, caller? Hello, caller? Can you hear me? Yes, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead. Yes, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm hearing you. Okay. Are you there, caller?
I am here. You can hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. We're hearing you.
Okay. Bad government is a real enemy for the country. It's govern an enemy within.
Okay.
I repeat, bad government is a real enemy for the country. It's govern an enemy within. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening as well. We go back to the lines. Having some challenges with my telephone. Are you there, caller?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening, my dear.
How are you, my husband? How are you? Peace and greeting to you.
I am peaceful. The same to you as well.
Okay. What I want to say tonight, Mr. Libo, I want to send a message to this Prime Minister that we have in this country. He feel like he do something good for the people, them. But me I tell him tonight because me want him to listen. If he listen, I want him to listen good. He not want the people them of think it and leave it no favor. The money where he give them and the money where they put inside the social security money. So no like feel like he grant them a favor. And the money he give them back. What happened to the single mother them? We're working in the factory them. They paying social too. Them they supposed to get too. He used to get the job. He stopped the job all over. The job should have been going on there. Single mother, go and get it. They get something to say to go in the supermarket, to speed up the supermarket business. He should have been giving them that. That's for the Christmas. To make the Christmas shopping. When people go work with survival for so much years, doctors and nurses, and those teachers were done, and when they retire and so, for so much years of work, they entitled of something. Because they work for the whole year, go down and they entitled of something. They ain't going to the people in the favor, because the money are the people that want. He cannot run this country in the right way. He do not know what he's doing. We have a serious problem, Mr. Loiban, in this country, We have a serious problem with them, If another year come and meet them people in there, that better how we do. Because they don't know what they do. She and all of them to the militia in the House of Assembly, and there's all the children in there. Like that selfish. Dr. Harris talking, every minute they're cutting him off. And the speaker, then she bias. But me tell him, Mr. Loibod, she have the power in she hand, they have the power. But God power more greater and bigger than them. Because when God ready, he gonna take them out of office. Karma don't play now. Karma don't play. God listen them and God watch them And when he ready, he gonna move on them. You know what I'm saying? That when they inside that tell lie to the nation and to the people them, we put them inside there. A priest of whirlwind come and lick out the backside out of governmental quarters. A lot of them inside that tell lie. Dr. Harris talking, let him and talk. He's the opposition, let him talk. The people want and put him in the right talk. We're not afraid he talk. We're not afraid of, let him and talk. I just said to Sean this afternoon. Just said to Sean, cutting across the people and there's the opposition. Let them talk. Let them talk. They should have been giving the judge till now that the single mother them ain't get the money. They're going to the supermarket and make a shopping. What happened to the children that are going to school? I hope they're getting hot and good, decent school lunch. I don't know what to say with them, them with the problem where them in this place, they need to go, We need not to talk and blah, 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 blah. Get me rid of the backside. Let me cover them. Get me rid of them. They don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Mr. Loibod, running a country is not easy, Running a country is not easy. The bitch to run a country, is not easy,
Okay, thanks.
Doctor, you do not know what you're doing. What you doing? Tell the people I'm thinking of Nevis. That should be in a medical center of St. Vincent.
Okay. Okay, my dear, thanks a lot for you. We can't confirm that, so let's please be careful the parameters on which we govern here, so we can't say that, so please don't get in that realm, my straight dog family. We're having some difficulty with the lines, and perhaps I'll try them one more time. Let's see what's happening with our lines. And this email in the meantime reads, Patches, the slow student Jeffrey Hanley did not mention anything about the 2,400 smart homes or smart housing project or the court matter filed by Brian Singh during his presentation in the budget debate. It was the senator opposite who talked about it and the other failed projects. The senator opposite also said that we don't want to hear anything about soon come. We want to see them, reads this email. This other email reads, Patches, all the snake Mark Brantley talked about in the budget debate was marijuana, geothermal, and SEZ. Nothing about how the people are suffering under this greedy, vagabond government. But that is to be expected because he is in bed with July government. Sean and Timothy did a good job by tearing apart this worthless, stupid budget. I like the way Sean had all the government ministers quiet, especially the slow student Jeffrey Hanley, when he was talking about the Bastia High School and who is the contractor that's getting all this money. The AG got Lucifer Wilkin tried to mess with Sean at the end of his presentation, but Sean hit back with the AG not paying Social Security for his nanny. I missed that one. Wow. This other email reads, "My Straight Talk family, forgive me, let's try those lines again, but this other email reads, good evening, Mr. Liebert. The responses to the budget estimates today by former Prime Minister Timothy Harris and former Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards was both enlightening and unfortunately terrifying at the same time. They highlighted issues which are not just a cause for serious concern, but also a cause for significant alarm amongst the population. I am shocked at the revelation by Sean Richards' bombshell when he claimed that without any formal procurement process, the Jew administration has awarded a contract to a Barbadian contractor, that should read, for EC $271 million at Victoria Road. Sean Richards further asks, how could a Belgian contractor get a contract for EC $270 million with a paid mobilization deposit of EC $27 million when the budget for the entire school project, as shown in the estimates, is only a mere $31 million. I smell a commission of inquiry coming soon, Patches reads this email. My Straight Talk family, it's 14 before the 10 o'clock hour. I'll go down a little time after 10 o'clock just for your benefit. I want to recommend that you try the numbers again and let's see if they're working. I believe they are. Let's try them one more time for those who are trying to get in. Try. Nothing beats a failure but a trial. So you can try those numbers again. Let's see what's going on. Everything seems to be looking okay here. Someone sent me an email and asked me not to read the email on air. And I'm disappointed, but I won't read the email on air, but I'm disappointed with the content. I don't see why I would try to overlook any emails whatsoever. But I wish you well nonetheless. To say that I deliberately avoided your email is nothing but false. Unless your email contains libelous matter, and I don't know, I don't remember seeing this email you're speaking about, but the things you have said here are not really kind, but you told me not to read the email nonetheless. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
My husband.
Yes, my dear. Yes, dear.
I call back.
Mm-hmm.
What this Prime Minister, what he going to bring for the 2026? What going to be the New Year message and the New Year budget? What he going to bring for us?
Yep.
Early might sing a song, you know. The poor can't take no more. And he said in his song, this land is our land. All of us. What he going to bring to this country? What he going to bring to the people them? Lie. Pure lie. More lie. He need to wake up, you know. If you know he cannot handle the seat, if you know he cannot handle the chair, and it's too hard to him come out. Because he and the cabal, then they cannot run the country. They don't know what they're doing. They're messing up the Mr. Lord, everything gone dead, you know? Everything slow up in thinking. To notice that? Everything slow up. When you hear Mr. Richard talk tonight and I listen all the way talk, it's so formal and true. Cost of living, you go in the shop and you buy a pound of baconet, a pound of rice, a quarter lentil, you go and go put life and keep life in your body. No money there tomorrow who buy nothing else. Eh? You swallow your saliva. No money else there to buy nothing. What Dr. Johnny cover them doing with the money? Pulling up the bank book? Eh? Pulling up the bank book and pulling up the friends and the family? The poor can't take no more in this country, Mr. Lloyd. Dagon dead boy are we do. If we don't make a move and get them out of parliament and out of power. Get them out of power, let it go. Because it seems to me one he and all of them been broke and they cheat the election, the brainwash the people in mind who put them inside there. Bless me, Lord. Okay. You there, Mr. Lyman?
Yes, my dear. Thanks a lot for your intervention.
Bless me.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Lyman, it seems to me like that it broke and the brainwash the people to put them inside there. The Prime Minister cannot run this country, Mr. Lloyd. He needs somebody experienced person. When we're going to get an experienced leader to run our country, to run it in the right direction. Things is getting worse, things is getting harder. We can feel it. Can't you see it? Not keep, not do, not go on. Huh? Corruption come in the state. Yes, hello, Tawilan. Because them to have children when they come, none there with them. Nobody help me hear you tonight. Me never believe thinking will come down and need them there. Them that the problem. Labor is the problem right now, then they cannot more poor people by themselves.
Okay, my dear, thanks a lot for your intervention.
The only about
okay. Okay, thanks a lot, my dear. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, man. Good evening, man. How you doing, man?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Pretty good, man. Very disturbing to see what keeps happening in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
We got to keep our eyes on the prize wrapping up this year. Patches, remember last year at the end of the year, I told you these guys was going to come back on the top of the year and give themselves a fat increase. They sure did. Me personally, man, Patches, certain things that we wanted to say, bro, I can't even say it on these airwaves, bro.
Yep, I understand. You understand.
Disappointing to see how both of these governments are running the place. They're running the place like a banana republic, to use somebody else's words. Remember I keep saying, Patches, there is no opposition across the narrows. These guys are going to run away with the reckless spending. Man, Timothy Harris and Sean Richards, these guys need help inside of that parliament. It's not good for democracy to see what's going on inside the parliament. They need help inside there. All the people of St. Kitts and Nevis got to do is replace those others that's in there. Patches, man, the failures of these governments, man, is putting us in a bind. The people didn't sign on for this stuff at all. Man, the amount of money we collected through that CBI program since its inception is astronomical. St. Kitts and Nevis should have been in tip-top shape. The corruption is mega. St. Kitts and Nevis probably is the most corrupted place in the Western Hemisphere based on size. Fact is, that corruption got to be minimized. We got to kick that corruption out of here like a football. Man, the failures of these two governments, especially that mismanagement of our money, is now making them desperate. And the worst thing that these guys can do to St. Kitts and Nevis is take our lands and give it away. Man, the people are too docile. They're too naive. We need to be in front of these government officers protesting every day in mass numbers. And whenever they call the election, we just replace them. I'll leave it there, Patches, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot for your contribution as well. We go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Hello, caller. Good night, sir. Yep.
Again, and God bless you to come on constructively and open up people eye, because this is what we want. We can't play blind to things, and we can't play ignorant. All right then, Patrick.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Politics. I believe I had you unmuted for a while. Forgive me for that. Things are just not working good tonight. What's going on? But my Short Talk family, it's 3 before the 10 o'clock hour. I will, as I said, give you back some of the time you lost because of a difficulty we had at the beginning. But in the event you've joined me belatedly, we looked at the thesis for tonight, which I have titled Poor Fiscal Performance Causes Mad Rush to SEZs. And my Stray Dog family, I in fact raised some issues. I'll get back to them, but let me take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Patrick.
How are you, my lord? Good night.
Well, Mr. Patrick, I am here by the grace of God.
Yes, we are.
You look sleepy, Mr. Patrick.
I'm a little tired, yes.
I know you're tired.
You just woke up?
No, I'm here watching you all the time.
Yeah.
Here it is, Mr. Patrick. Listen to me good.
I am.
I ain't going not to understand after long. But I want to brighten the where there is Dolby, I want to brighten it.
Okay.
There was a man in the Bible named Moses. Before I start there, Psalms 41 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. That is, the word of God govern the whole world. And there are many things in the Bible I could say tonight, but I'm going to explain some, and not too many. God take Moses and to be a deliverer, to bring the children out of Egypt.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. You give me. You get. Okay.
Compassionate.
Okay.
He love poor people. And I'm saying tonight, when the time comes, Mr. Pattis,
Okay.
God is going to set him up and he's going to bring the people out of bondage.
Okay.
Now the word of God says, Pattis.
Okay, Bible man, give me a long sermon tonight.
I am not going to get a long sermon.
Yeah, yeah, but
I am not going to deal in a long sermon tonight, Pattis.
You already did, but go ahead.
What I am going to tell you, the word of God said, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord,
He's good.
for His good,
Mercy and
for His mercy endureth forever."
All right.
Okay. He said, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say so."
Yes.
And so, Mr. Pattis, I am waiting patiently for God. You see, I can tell you something, Pattis.
Come on, take a rap, Mr. Bible, rap, Mr. Bible. Have some other people on the line.
I can tell you something. God sent an ambush.
Okay.
God sent an ambush.
Okay. Okay.
In the Egyptian camp.
Okay, my brother. Okay.
And so, Pattis, good night.
Good night.
And have a pleasant night rest, Mr. Pattis.
Thanks a lot. And
when you go home, God, you look sleepy.
Yes.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Bible man. You gave me a long sermon tonight. But let's go back to the lines. Thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, thanks again, Patches. Honestly, the lines has been behaving badly tonight.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't know. We couldn't hear what the other callers been saying. No audio at all. So I'm gonna try to reiterate. But what I would like you to do for me, based on how the Premier has done his manipulation of the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister as a leader should not allow that to happen. And that shows so much weakness in him. And a leader should be a leader, and a leader should listen. But you should know what and how to maneuver yourself in terms of the rule of engagement. But I would like you to play a clip that the Prime Minister had said pertaining to the Premier that shot about the sheriff, because a lot of people don't know and haven't heard it. But I think if it's time to fire that shot, I'm not talking about violently, it's just the ideology of putting Mark Brantley in his place. Premier, I would like to hear that clip again. It has been played for a long time. Now is the time for the Prime Minister to fire that shot, but I hope the shot is not, the brimstone or the gunpowder in the shot is not rotten, or the gun is jammed. I hope the gun is not jammed. I'm not the one who said it, it's the Prime Minister. So I think the whole world should hear it again. I'm not condoning violence, but it's the Prime Minister say. So I think he should fire the shot to the Premier to put him in a place, because he allowed too much damage to be done to us. And he just sit back. At one point he said he don't have nothing to do with Nevis affairs. Now he's in. Then he's going to pull back out again. Oh my God. Our place is in a mess by these people. Never in history this ever happened. They have leave a tarnishment to this country. All the other islands in the Caribbean laughing after us. I will leave it right here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Not certain I can find that soundbite for you tonight, but perhaps I can commit to playing it sometime around. Next time around, my brother. I do apologize for that, but I can, as I said, I can perhaps sometime around try to find that soundbite for you. But I do remember that soundbite when he spoke about the sheriff. And yes, he did in fact said he had one shot for the sheriff. But my Straight Talk family, the silence violates every principle of good governance, transparency, and accountability. And the Destiny Project in Nevis, we cannot lose sight of it and allow them to sneak it past us. As I said, the Financial Times got that story in relation to that particular project. And the Financial Times is an internationally renowned newspaper. And they have captured that story, as you can glean from your monitors, your screens. Bitcoin investor plans Caribbean community with its own court system. They also spoke about the conflict of interest situation with the Premier and his wife, Mama Brantley. But even more alarming is the betrayal of over 13,000 people on Nevis, Nevisians, residents and citizens, I may add, through the proposal that could nearly bring 40,000 people, 40,000 nationals imported into a special economic zone. And how we reach to 40,000, that may sound alarming, but very simple. If they are going to sell applications for or sell passports for this project, and Johnson confirmed that they were going to. And each applicant, the main applicant, his spouse and 2 children are normally part of the application process. So that could mean 10,000 times 4. Quickly we are at 40,000. But what was revealed just recently, this Methodist minister and pastor, reverend I should say, Bonnie Byron, who told of a friend who informed her that Mama Brantley been approaching people to buy land since in 2021. And that is even more troubling when you hear a story, my straight dog family, like this.
The name is Bonnie Byron. Just 2 little simple things have upset me very badly. I have a friend who told me that he was approached in 2021 by Mrs. Brantley, who asked him to sell his land over in that area. I don't know what you call it. Right. And another friend of mine said that she was approached before COVID. COVID was when? Yeah. Another friend of mine told me she was approached before COVID. So that's 2019. My friend who was approached in 2021 told Mrs. Brantley that he's not going to sell his land. And so she put some white person to call him. I don't know the white person name. Doesn't matter. So I am very upset. I'm very alarmed. I said to the Premier that this whole thing is very alarming to me. That this thing has been going on for what now? 5, 6, 7 years? And, well, I for one, maybe the rest of you have been hearing about it. But this year is the first time I'm hearing about it. When 2 of my friends were approached, one before COVID and one after COVID.
So they've been canvassing landowners for years And we get the impression that it was something new, my straight dog family. But the good Reverend went on to declare this, my straight dog family.
I'm extremely upset about this. So my question, but who exactly is Mrs. Brantley working for? Sorry? Yeah. Who exactly is the Premier's wife working for? I understand at some meeting at the other, the Premier said, leave my wife's name out of this. So if Mrs. Brantley could approach a friend of mine to ask my friend to sell his land, and when he said no, he was still pursued. Who exactly is she working for? I am very, very disturbed that this thing has been in the works for some 5 to 6 years. I'm extremely disturbed about it. And how come I just hearing about it this year? You know? Premier Brantley asked me a question in a very public space at the rededication service of the Methodist Church. Reverend Byron, am I still your friend? And my answer in this public space is Jesus commands us to love everybody. So I love everybody. It doesn't mean I like everybody. When somebody is not upfront with me, it is very, very disturbing to me. And I cannot trust them.
Cannot trust the Brantleys. But this is not development, my straight dog family. This is demographic displacement. And the pastor said that in language the ordinary man understands and understands clearly.
You bring in 7,000 to 10,000 people in here. That is going to change the face of Nevis forever. Right? I live right here in Charlestown. Now, rich people could go in their mansions and shut themselves away from the thing. I live right here in Charlestown. When these foreigners come in here, they could come into my space, could call it my zone. I have no protection against them, but I can't go into their zone. They have all the protection against me. Poor little me who could do them nothing. They have all the protection against me, but I have no protection against them. The people who are making these decisions for me, they could go into their mansions, they have their security, whatever it is. Right? So when these foreigners come, I am out in the open. No protection at all. It is very, very disturbing to me that somebody has made these decisions for me and still expecting me to be their friend. It is very, very disturbing for me. What is my future? I'm sleeping in my bed at night. What drug lord, what this can come around, walk in my space, and I have no protection?
That's a fair question. And my straight dog family, going back to the thesis and the poor fiscal performance of this new Labour administration. Weak fiscal performance has increasingly pushed governments towards short-term, high-visibility policy tools, triggering a growing rush into special economic zones. And that's exactly what's happening right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because this administration, or both administrations, the Nevis Island administration and the federal government, the Terence Michael July administration, Labour administration that is, they're both faced with widening deficits, sluggish revenue growth, and mounting political pressure to stimulate investment and employment. Terence Michael Drew and his cabinet of experts have considered SEZs as quick solutions to the current deep-seated structural problems. And you know why? He failed to read these lines that are printed in his budget. Well, his budget is normally written by a technical officer within the Ministry of Finance. And that officer provided a fiscal landscape which Drew skipped. If you listen to his budget address many times, you'd have not heard him say this. And that's on your screens. He never said this. Madam Speaker, at page 9, he skipped that. I now move to give a synopsis of the government's fiscal performance for the year 2025. An analysis of the 2025 fiscal data revealed that deficits were recorded for the overall and primary accounts of $295.4 million and $279.3 million respectively. And that's the situation, dismal situation this country finds itself in. Read it for yourselves, my Straight Talk family. We never fabricated that. That's in the budget address of Terence Michael July. He lied today, or a couple of days ago, and he continues to lie. So as we wrap tonight's programming, again, we ask you, where do we go from here? The so-called goose, or the citizenship, the so-called golden goose, I should say, or the citizenship by investment program, has laid all its eggs. The CBI revenues are down. He was bold enough to read this, my Straight Talk family.
Madam Speaker, total revenue and grants summed to $779.1 million, of which recurrent revenue was $756 million. The total grants was $23 million. Tax revenue was $444 million, was $5.8 million or 1.3% lower than the budget estimate, mainly because of the VAT holiday as well. Notably, taxes on income, taxes on property, and taxes on international trade and transaction fell short as well. However,
fell short. And yet, against all logic, the government goes and estimates $240 million in CBI fees for 2026. Is that voodoo economics? It is therefore easy to conclude that the haste and desperation to approve the development agreement submitted to the NIA by Oliver Johnson's, presents a last-ditch attempt to squeeze revenue from a CBI program that has lost its competitiveness across the OECS and beyond. And all of this comes at a time when public debt has ballooned to nearly $2 billion. There's $2 billion with a B. There is no money in the treasury in Bastia. There's no money in the treasury in Charlestown. Both administrations are bad for business. So the question before the Federation is simple. Where do we turn? Do we return to leadership that took us into the IMF? Or to the leadership that fought to free us from the clutches of that Bretton Woods institution? Whatever the answer, the financial stability of St. Kitts and Nevis is now at stake. My Straight Talk family, international news journals have picked up the situation here in Nevis. And my Straight Talk family, we are not getting the transparency. And this is not about our party or any party. It's about our country. It's about our patrimony. And the people must come first. So my Straight Talk family, I leave you with simple. There's little room for reform. The NIA is barely functioning. As Brantley said, is running on fumes. Much of the agenda of Terence Michael Drew, his sustainable island agenda, remains permanently underway, with delivery repeatedly deferred to future timelines that never arrive. This government has a culture of postponement, which has been compounded by weak spending discipline and overall poor fiscal record, marked by little or limited value for money and absence of clear fiscal prioritization. They have no value for money. They take the travel club and fly all over the globe, while our deficit goes up and up and up. And their time in office lengthens while people's patience shortens. And my Straight Talk family is no longer about inherited constraints, but about accountability for the results that they have not achieved. The millions Sharon Mama Brantley is expected to yield from the land deals made by Johnson's belong to Mark and Brantley. Terence Michael Drew has one alternative route that would lead him straight to the IMF. Because what we have is a government after almost 4 years in office with a poor fiscal performance that's causing this mad rush into special economic zones. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I'm not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank you, the many viewers, those of you who sent emails, or those of you who would have called. We apologize for the little jinx with our phones in the beginning. But once things are technical, once we have equipment, these things do happen. But we apologize for that. But until we connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Have yourself a restful weekend. Go to church. I'm going to church. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Monday.
light. Give him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food